Hello, this is your reading. I'm starting this at 10:10, so I think it's a good sign. And the energy that I was getting was like kind of like a little giddy. I don't know. So I think that could be something to go with it too for the reading. I'm doing something different because I'm going to use some decks that I've never used for a reading. I've pulled some cards here and there, but I've never actually like fully used the deck. Well, for these readings at least. I would say one of them I did a sample reading at when I first got it, but then after that I never really used it. And I actually really do love the decks. So this is the um I don't want to butcher the name, but it's this Polish deck that I got from my friend. We would do like tarot trades, and she's in Estonia, and she would just um, have her own collection and would be able to get decks that would be rare or not available in the US market. So this is a deck like that. And um, it's it's one that I do get along with, and it's interesting. There's a little bit of a theme going on because this one has a dark tone, and it's like the artwork has the illumination. I did. This is like after having it for years, and I never actually translated what the name was until recently. So it's tarot. Um, of the Radiant Path. I mean, you could let me know if that makes sense and if it really does translate to that. But I thought that this would be a good opportunity to use it. Luckily, well, it is close to traditional imagery, but it also has the English at the bottom too. And then I have this deck, and it's the Furhoxa Tarot. I got the version that was like the first edition. That's not the mass-produced one, so it looks a little different, and I really like this edition. Um, when I first saw it, it was definitely something up my alley. It just has like, for me, dark fairy energy, and so it seems like this is like a dark deck going with that dark deck. Um, and I do feel like it is something because I kind of notice a difference. I don't encounter, um, well, I do encounter Libras pretty, not too often, but um, I would say that there's like differences in energy with the male and female Libras. So, um, I'm not saying it's, I think like it is feeling like more feminine energy and it's like a little darker. Um, it's just what I'm feeling right now. And because my name means dark, and then my middle name is Queen, so it's like Dark Queen. I tend to have a darker personality, and I'm not sure if it's like the time of the year. Um, but I do feel more in my feminine, but sometimes uh, I've been watching videos. I have mentioned it, not like here, but just in general, because um, especially when you're independent, growing up independent, you do a lot of stuff on your own. Um, for girls, sometimes you grow your own imaginary balls because you feel like you had to do a lot of the stuff on your own, and maybe you did. And then one of the videos was like uh, seeing the type of interactions or relationships you have because of that type of dynamic. Um, so I I feel like that's more self-awareness in that way. And I don't know, I just kind of felt like mentioning it. But um I feel like this is like dark feminine energy, which could do well for this reading and it could be for around this time of the year. But I don't feel like it's a bad thing. Um Also with horse energy too, and the element that you're associated with in that. Um, Even though you may feel or say that you're not emotional, it could be like not wanting to admit to those things or express them just because like uh that type of vulnerability can just be taken in a different way and you wouldn't want that to be like maybe in the knowing with the wrong person type of thing or like in general um just kind of goes against what you feel like would be making you stronger at right now. But I think like um that could be one thing that really does strengthen who you are. For some reason I was gonna say like strengthen your core, but um I think that would be helpful too. And then I also have this deck that's the um Buckland Romani. This is one that I'm so happy that I was able to get because the creator passed away. So this is from Ukraine and it's a specific type of edition. And this one is a good version of it because there are different, well, what with what's left because it's not being produced right now, it is not easy to find. So I'm gonna start pulling out cards. I didn't mean this one for this one to be like a talkative reading. Uh, And I don't know, with like the vulnerability, it kind of is like giving, and this card popped out. So the obstacle is the Five of Swords. This kind of feels like an all or nothing response. And even with that interruption, I just feel like maybe there's something more to it. Because I was saying it and now I'm like kind of, I don't really remember what I was going to say, to be honest, about that. Uh, and maybe there could have been like a moment in your life where you felt like it came naturally to be vulnerable, and then someone or something gave you a reason to shut that part of you out. I was also watching another video too. Um, so this psychologist has a person that sees them, and this person has a thing that it's like trauma from 7 years old because it's a business person, and then his dad said to him that I would have rather had a dog than had a son like you. And it was like one of those things that just like stuck with him for his longest time. The things that he was determined to have in his life, that was like even after his father's passing, that was like something that was so to his core that he needed to have that type of validation. And it could be like a heavy burden too. As I'm saying this, like this deck feels heavier than what I remember it to be. I haven't really gotten the deck out, but I have shuffled larger decks, and for some reason this feels like it's like a brick. There's another deck that's like a brick. Maybe I can show it. But I made it like that because I was trying to cover the back for it. So I could pull out a card from this deck too. This one is the earlier second edition of the Animal Wise Tarot. This is like the main one that I use because I have the first edition one, that's the pink one that's out of print. This one is, so there's another version of this that's in print, but this one, I say it's an early edition because this is a store copy that I specifically asked for, and it's more opaque than the ones that they sell at the store because I bought one and I just like didn't like it, and I was living in Florida at the time, and I saw this sample deck that I connected to in Massachusetts when I was living in the area. And then so that's like in the way up northeast part of the US. And then this is gonna be a really talkative video. So I called the store up and I was like, hey, can I buy that specific version? And then they said that I could. So I don't think I had to pay that much. Well, I had to pay for shipping, I think, but I don't think I had to pay like a lot to get the deck. I think it was like regular price. And I know it's used, but I didn't care at that point. So I guess I'll pull this one out too, because I know you like animals. So I'll do that. And then I'll get something out of here. And then there was this other video of just like, maybe it has to do with the reading because it just keeps flowing out. Um, how children, it is part of their survival to like watch their parents and how they react on certain things. And this one popped out, so this one or two. Um, Another five in the tower. It kind of feels like as soon as something comes back out, you try to like tuck it back in. And it's one that like an energy that feels like determined to have this type of thing or aspect about maybe yourself, more concealed or more something that is seen as not important. And maybe it could have been linked to like a certain time in your life where um, emotions weren't seen as like important because um, it maybe it was like the way that somebody was telling you or like treating you when you tried to show certain emotions. So there's a lot of like molding because we see and we do what feels like or what we just perceive because I feel like it's like really young energy and seeing that type of thing and being invalidated, I think that's like one of the biggest things. So I'll start pulling or turning over the cards because I had them all face down except for the ones that flipped on me. But it looks like you're really like if you are learning, you're learning a lot and it's at a fast pace or there's something like really direct about the energy. There's almost like a determination because you have the Justice and High Priestess here with the two of water. So I put these together, High Priestess and Justice, Major Arcana, Tower, Major Arcana. I'll just say Major Arcana for major things in life, Minor Arcana for more like everyday things. And then you have the Two of Earth, the Two of Pentacles. So I'll also say this suits too. So Two of Cups, Minor Arcana. And I feel like the Two of Earth, the Two of Pentacles was really influenced by the Justice card because it's a spider um, figure and it just looks like there's not confusion in priority, but the word that I'm getting is multifaceted. So there could be something where you're really trying to gain skills at a quick pace. It's almost like you're trying to catch up to something or somebody. You have the Two of Cups, the Two of Water, that could be an influence, but heavy on the High Priestess and the Justice card. And with these two cards too, there's a lot of like there's horns and antlers, and that could be linked to like higher learning or power or like wisdom linking to that, like knowledge is power type of thing. So there is that appreciation of gaining some type of experience, and even maybe like crone energy um, with the hair and different types of interpretations or like perceiving things, because with the justice there's the blindfold. So um, it seems like there's that type of dedication. There's a lot of aspects, there's a lot of different levels and ways of grabbing and working with it. It's almost like it's energy where you're kind of trying to do something at a quick pace. And it's a good quick pace too. I remember when I was a barista before what I do now. Um, I would work at there's like Panera Bread in America. I don't know if it's in other countries. And I would be the main barista and I would do the training uh, for the new baristas coming in. And I remember there was like there would be full screens of orders, and my job was to clear those screens. So and there were some things that I could like do together, consolidate together, things that like if it was like the same type of drink, I would, put certain add more ingredients to make the multiple drinks. It's been a long time, but um, I would say that that was one of my favorite jobs because I had a really early shift. And even though I'm a night owl, I like having my nights free to just like enjoy myself and not even like to really go out or anything. Just in case I want to have like my night to do something and I'm the most awake at that time. So, that's like one of the things. It would just be like to clear it. There's something about clearing the screen or something that like really says that like almost like there's different qualities or qualifications in working with it and knowing what you do and knowing how you do it, and there's like a goal in mind. Um, there is like I have an ankle bracelet and or anklet, and there is it's made out of thread. Um, so that's what I was playing with. So it almost feels like just like even how maybe chefs like to touch their food, like to really feel it. It's like just really getting that type of enjoyment out of it. I didn't turn over all the cards, so I'm gonna turn over the next couple. I feel like maybe you like to talk because there just feels like this energy of like um, needing to vocalize. Yeah, it's crazy. I've had this deck for years, and this is the first time I'm seeing the Fool from the deck. So it's Major Arcana. I feel like it has to do with the Ten of Cups too, because the Ten of Cups, like, there's McMahon, but it keeps like flipping to go to like where the position of the present was. So Fool, Major Arcana, the King of Wands. Um, there's a couple of court cards in here. So this is in these are in the present position. And then this one keeps flipping to the present. So I'm gonna say that it's part of it because it's technically in the how to overcome the obstacle position, which has the Five of Swords, the first one that flipped or came out. And then I would say this is overall energy with the Queen of Swords. There's a lot of like archetypes or a lot of court cards here. I really feel like that's a strong environment slash obstacle energy. And it could link to a person too. And the others could be linking to people. The past with the Two of Pentacles showing up again with the Ace of Swords. And then the Queen of Pentacles for the future. Because there's court cards in here, and then in the Animal Wise Tarot, there's double court cards, or there's two more court cards. So, yeah, the King of Four Legs, which is the King of Pentacles, the Gorilla, Strength, Nobility, and Generosity, and then King of Shapeshifters, King of Cups, Dragonfly, Trust in the Power of Light. And then there's the Temperance card, Major Arcana, and then the Ten of Pentacles. So Temperance with the Swan, New Dreams and New Realms. And then the Ten of Pentacles, Ten of Four Legs, Moose, Home, Birth, and Primal Mother. I feel like if there is masculine and feminine here, the feminine is more showing up on the masculine energy. Like there's just such a like, because well the primal mother comes in here with the Ten of Pentacles, and with earth energy it's definitely heavier and more grounded. I'm not saying it's like, because there's other tens in the deck too, but um this one it seems like it's so like rooted. There's something that's really strong about that foundation that stands out with that type of card. And then you have the Queen of Pentacles in the future. I feel like the Queen of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles kind of have the same energy, so this could be like in that type of environment, or this could even be the same person because the Queen of Swords has like energy that kind of feels like it needs to be convinced otherwise. And then once this energy kind of lets down its walls, or it's like the perception of if I should maybe trust the situation or person or not, then I feel like other aspects open up. So it could be linked to Empress energy because the Empress embodies all of the queens, and these would be two aspects because it would be the water, fire, earth, air type of elemental associations, and then with the suits, um, the wands, the pentacles, swords, cups. So there's something like just really practical about this, as if it really gives off someone that has a good head on their shoulders and knows how to navigate life and run the business, or like it just feels like a really type of masculine, feminine type of queen energy. And you have the 10 of cups here. um and 10 of cups just seems like there's 10 and 10, so I feel like there's something that's opening up. I would say that um so there's the wands, fire, uh the cups, which the shapeshifters, water, and then four legs, pentacles. This is like a Native American deck. So then you have earth. So earth, water, and fire. So, and it's not surprising that the Queen of Swords specifically gives off more of like masculine energy, because in technicality, some would associate the Queen of Swords with a divorced person or a person that's on their own. And I don't have to, you don't have to associate signs with it, but Queen of Swords is like Libra energy. Queen of Pentacles, you could associate um, with. So this was happening before. That was crazy. Like Sagittarius, and why did I say Sagittarius? Oh my god, what? Because I was gonna say Capricorn, and then there's Virgo, and you could say Earth in general, but there was like this third sign that was just like not coming in my head, and for some reason I said Sagittarius, which is not Earth, so excuse me. Um, Going through the whole Taurus, so it could link to uh, Taurus energy, and the duo is still there too because the actual card, the Empress card, even if it's linking to the four queens, it is technically being represented by Libra and Taurus. So that there's like kind of the, I don't want to say dynamic duo because earth and air, they're hard. They're like opposites because it's difficult to move earth with air. If you want to think about it like that, there's a lot of things that just the way that they move and the way that they live their life is just not like on the same way, and somehow it's kind of making it work. It's almost like forcibly like making that work too. So I mean your sign shows up the reading, so you can say that, like you can use that as representation too. But with the Ten of Cups, it just seems like an overall good family dynamic or being or like energy. And going with the King of Wands and the Fool card, it just feels like with this King of Wands, the King of Wands just went all in with this, and it just feels like an all or nothing type of response. Because you're jumping from the Fool, and even though it's Major Arcana, there's 10 from the Minor Arcana, 10 of Cups. And like with a heavy investment, because I feel like with the King of Cups, it's not about having impulsive decisions, especially about maybe relationships or things of that nature that it requires like um an emotional investment. And it's interesting that I say that because one of the biggest things is like the emotional investment, but if you're not emotional, how are you emotionally invested in it? And that was just me saying that in the reading. But the King of Pentacles, there's that sense of like, this works for me. And the King of Cups, there is something about like embracing energy. Because the King of Cups is still a king, and yet it kind of feels like when we think about water, it does give like it gives like the impression of being a little feminine, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. Um, I think that's one of the things with this situation going on. So I'm gonna pull out some more cards and then I'll end the reading. And like with the wands and the cups, like with the kings there, it's almost feeling like not wanting to be burned. And maybe that's like the perception going on with the Queen of Swords is because like there's something that just seems incomplete or seems like because the Queen of Swords is one that like kind of it gets to business in terms of like knowing the unknowing with the High Priestess there too. Um, just at this time like highly perceptive. Oh, and with the other signs, the King of Wands, Leo, King of Pentacles, Capricorn, and King of Cups, Scorpio. Because it's almost like with the Queen of Swords, that she's, and again, not surprising, like she's not like the energy that really settles. Like people, maybe situations could, I'm not saying like it's like forcing stuff out of life necessarily, but it's not like, she doesn't have like desperate energy type of thing. Like, if something or somebody tries to offer her something that's like what she feels is not what it needs to be, like it's not like rejecting it out of being pompous, but rejecting it being like, why would I have this? This is not what is needed. This is what is needed at this point. And it's almost like if someone or like something just keeps be like uh would come to her in a certain way, and it's almost like she's like not being, there's like a demeanor that is not kind of aggressive in that way, but you know that she's, or he is more taking it in a different light or a different tone. And it's almost like having dignity for yourself. I don't know. It's interesting because maybe for those who have been in relationships, and then especially when they're ending and the relationship is ending not in a great note, on a great note, and even if the person that, there's stuff that happened that affected them because of what the other person did, it kind of feels like keeping the dignity, because it's not like energy that tries to rush in to just fill in that gap just to have it. There's a lot more intention that goes into it. And with the Queen of Pentacles, it could be like the practicality, because maybe like um she has limited space, and this space is meant for things are that have like function, and it could be like a person, and it could be like other things, but there could be like the functionality, and it has like the dynamic of like the King and Queen of Pentacles in this reading. um and then it kind of feels like with the King of Wands and the King of Cups, they're kind of like um there's some type of dynamic that works itself out, and it doesn't need to be like separate energies of different people. It could be like the same person with different aspects that battles each other out and tries to like it's almost like almost trying to make an element more dominant than the other instead of balancing all the elements together. And it could be like with the emotions that I was saying in the beginning, or something in your life that you hold more significance, like it's more significant to you. So in that way, or that you would like it to have more significance. So in that way, you're trying to like overpower one element over the other. So it's something to keep in mind. So the cards that I have, this is the extra card in the deck. So this is the Council of Monarchs. And then the Three of Pentacles. So there's the Two of Pentacles that came out, and it's nice that the Three of Pentacles came out too. Three of Earth, Three of Pentacles. And then there's what's missing, one of the kings, but at this point it doesn't really matter because, well, for me, maybe it might matter for somebody else. You have the Emperor here, Major Arcana. Justice again, Major Arcana. So I am getting like fire and air. Justice also connecting with Libra, Emperor all connecting with Aries, being the fire sign. Then you have the Four of Wands. There's a lot of like solid energies here, or energies that are really comfortable to be in, because there's the 4 and the 10, because you have the 10 of Cups, the 10 of Pentacles, and those are like really, especially if you're going for like relationships or something, that's like really comfortable to be in. It's not something where uh, it's like maybe a 5 or 7 where it's getting out of something that maybe you would have to try something new or something different, which isn't a bad thing, but it just feels like there's something, even if it hasn't been there for a while, or a person hasn't been there for a while, it might be compatibility of understanding. And there's mature energy here too, regardless of the age, because there's a bunch of kings and the queens. Because there's page, knight, queen, and kings for the decks. And, well, the Knight of Cups is here. But overall, there's like the. See, I feel like it's kind of switching because as I was saying, like it's like kind of the battle royal, for if that's how you say it, for the King of Cups with the King of Wands. Because it's almost like the King of Wands is trying to dominate, where you might want to have it dominate the King of Cups because maybe like with that emotional significance, it's trying to like shut that part out. So it might be like reverting back to like teeter tottering because it feels like almost like with the Knight of Cups. And I'm not saying the Knight of Cups isn't a bad card, but I feel like you might want the King of Cups there, but the Emperor is here, so and you have the Four of Wands. Um, Four of Wands is also something where um, there's just a lot of comfort and there could be like support in a way where you're able to put on that um, celebration or be able to do this because you're fortunate to have this. There's just seems like there's even though it's not pentacles where it might link to it could link to finances. It doesn't need to. The wands just feels like um, there's something like provided, and uh, from the Ten of Pentacles, again, it could be linking to having that type of establishment where you have your needs met and physically, and then having your needs met emotionally with the Ten of Cups. But there could be like maybe hesitant energy, or not so much, but it's like you might be fighting yourself with it. And then you have the Justice, again, as I said, with the Emperor. So and with these two, it does feel like a comfortable or something like how certain kingdoms maybe they have certain dynamics. I was watching Naruto's it was just Naruto because I was thinking like was it Shippuden and I don't know if you know it's like an anime and sometimes they have like the movies out on TV and I've never watched it before and there was like this one uh movie where like the kingdom was like the king was assassinated because it was like having to link with money and the king like the person that assassinated the king was angry because the king wanted to provide more to the people and like the lineage was still there like the son and the grandson and like the point of the one of the main things was like to protect them during their travels so like they hired the ninjas from the Leaf Village to like so sorry if you don't know what this is and it just sounds like a bunch of like random stuff. But basically they had to like protect the the son, which turned into the king, um, through his travels with his son or the grandson of the king that got assassinated. So it's like that type of situation too. And I just feel like there's some type of energy that you're trying to just maybe cut because honestly, sorry, that's my alarm. And I just feel like it was trying to like cut the energy off or like cut like from the knowing or like maybe emotional despair that you felt at some point. So, uh, the King of, well, the King of Cups, since I said that, it could be going on a deep dive for the Knight of Cups. It looks like there could be like some type of retrieval and then an octopus is there too. So there might be a strategy or reason behind what you're doing. Um, I said that whole story, and again, it's so weird because it's like the energy's not trying to come out with it, but I've said some stuff that could link to it towards the beginning. I feel like that could be what it is, but the specific thing that I was trying to say, it's just like it came and went. Um, so I think that is the reading. Um, I was gonna end it, but I was trying to think like, am I gonna remember what I was even gonna say? But I think that's it. So maybe like as you go further and deeper, um, it seems like it's going like pretty far in, and there's a lot of full on things with the response. So you might surprise yourself, or there could be things that have to give to make the dynamic or make the thing prosperous. But I feel like overall, like it with how you work about things, it shouldn't be a problem in your life in general, too. So, thank you so much for watching.